Hello people of the earth and welcome back to QuickSaveTV. My name is Mike and this is Mount&Blade 2. Bannerlord, right, that's the name, Bannerlord. It's a fantastic, phenomenal game, even though it's apparently in early access. The realization of this fact has dawned on me today and I've completely lost my mind. Today we're going to talk about kiting and mounted archery in Mount&Blade 2 and how you can use it, especially in small and medium scale engagements. So what the hell is kiting, you're gonna ask? Well, I'm gonna tell you in just a moment. Kiting is your capacity to use the advantage of speed or distance between yourself and the enemy and dealing damage to the enemy while not getting punished in return. This is especially interesting for a mounted archer. Why? Because you can maintain a crazy speed, you can fire from afar, and you can be unmolested while doing that. So before we start this fight, let's figure it out. So unfortunately this is the second take and the first one was much more epic, but whatever. Trust me on this. Even though my character is level 1 and I just fresh off the boat, right? I am able to dismantle 15 looters consistently. Solo. With just bow and arrow and horseback. And you can dismantle even more if you have better equipment. But I have only one quiver of arrows. And this is what we're going to do with you. We are on the back of the horse. And this is a particularly fantastic map for us because it's an open freaking field between these nice patches of forest. We don't much care about the forest because in forest it's very easy to do something like this. Not good. You don't want this to happen to you, because when this happens, you die. Your only advantage when you're fighting difficult units is your speed and the difficulty of them hitting you, especially when you do something like this. When you're doing maneuvers like this, when you constantly change the trajectory of your movement, it becomes incredibly difficult to hit you with spears and arrows and bolts. Now, these guys are not particularly challenging because they are using rocks. But when I move so fast, it's very difficult for me to hit them. Even though I'm approximately aiming where I should be with them. Now, how can we fix this? I want to keep my distance with them for about from 10 to 25 meters. And this is the perfect range from which we're going to fire at them. And we want to fire in such a way that we aim a little higher than where they are right now, a little higher, so we can do some sweet headshots. But we're also trying to aim where they're going to be in about a fraction of a second. So we're trying to aim, not like this, but like this. Right? So this way we can hit a location headshot, a location where they're going to be headshot in just a second. And this way we can slowly but surely we can dismantle their forces and not suffer any retaliation in return. So check it out, I've already killed 3 looters if I'm not mistaken, right? So my goal here is to kill at least 5. So this way I can dismantle groups of 15 raiders. How do I do that? Well, let's say it's a situation where there's more raiders. I'm going to kill this last one, carefully. He's trying to throw rocks at us. Hurl rocks at us. Come on, Mike, you can do this. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nice, fantastic. We ran out of arrows, and the only weapon we have is this stupid mace, which is not good for anything in this situation. So what we're going to do together is we're going to hit tab, and we're going to hit the middle mouse button and hit retreat. Why is it useful? Well, check it out. I can now re-engage these looters. And I will have refreshed arrows in my quivers, and if I have more than one quiver, suddenly I will have another 90 arrows. And that's a huge advantage which I can use against these enemies, and I can continue to terrorize them however I see fit. In this case, the terrorization was very short-lived, because the enemies were really short-lived. And in this situation, we completely obliterated 6 enemies by being solo, and we suffered zero consequence for doing that. No hurting was done to us, nothing at all. But let's find something a little more exciting, a little more interesting as I try to explore this idea. The video is very short still, so let's find a slightly more interesting target. But also this time we're going to recruit some people with us. And the reason we're going to do this is because I want you to show you not just an abstract, oh check it out, you can dismantle this truth, because it's not very interesting. You can't get very far solo in Mount&Blade, or at least it's a rather daft idea if you think about it. It's a game about accumulating an army and controlling this army and excelling through skill and experience over your enemies. It's not about solo experience, it's not Diablo, right? But here, 5 looters, we have 3 people with us, and we have us. So I want to show you how we can dismantle a strong force of opponents. Obviously, these looters are not that force. But yeah, 6 looters is a great example. They're very confident about their chances, and they should be. According to the chance bar, the power levels, they have a very good chance of winning, but they don't. I'll show you why. They are 6, we are 3. What we're going to do here is we're going to place our boys in a tight formation, and we're going to place them here. We're going to wait for the enemies to be a little closer. And this is 3 people. They can easily handle 3 people running at them, but 6 is a bit too much. And what we're going to do here is we're going to harass and harangue these enemies in such a... Okay, we've already split 2 of them, but we want to split more, and we want to wound them more. And we want to hit the ones that are very scary. Like the ones with the... Yeah, and now we can... Yeah, now we can let our boys attack, and we can keep harassing the enemies here. This is a very bad example, check it out. The enemies were able to dismantle my forces. I've done a very bad job. But the idea is there, right? The idea that if you split the enemy force, suddenly it stops being insurmountable for your boys. It becomes more manageable. 6 people, 6 versus 3 at such a circumstance is impossible to deal with for my boys. But 3v3 is a relatively reasonable thing. So my mistakes in this particular fight was that I entered combat a little bit late, and I failed to split the enemies in 2. I split them in a relatively good fashion, but I failed to deal significant damage to them. And I split them in groups of 2 and 4. This is much better than just flat out 6, because it would destroy my boys immediately. But these small groups like this are more manageable. And they're manageable for me too. And although my boys were completely destroyed and 3 of them died, this is a good idea. It was just a poor execution. And I will prove it to you in just a moment. Let's get some additional gear here. Some of this stuff is nice. Well, specifically just 1 item. Let's see if we can find some more. Whoppa. These are kind of annoying, right? Hillmen and brigands. This is a great example too, because so you don't tell me that my ideas are shit and they don't work in a real world scenario. Let me show you. So these guys are much more scary than looters, because these guys have much better weaponry with them, and they have nice throwing weapons, which are a big threat specifically to us, because this shit can one-shot us. This shit can actually one-shot us, and he's right aiming at us. Did you see this guy? He's actually aiming at us, but these kids are throwing rocks, so they're not a big deal, and they are the ones I'm going to focus at. Oh my god, the spear is flying. Did you see that shit? So you have to be very careful with this thing, because this thing can one-shot you, especially if you're running full speed on your horseback at it. They're very, very scary. And they're very, very scary because the enemies are very, very good at throwing them. The artificial intelligence does not muck about. It's very good at throwing these things. So we're trying to dismantle them. We're trying to keep our distance as we're kiting them. The distance of about 10 to 25 meters, depending on the enemy. If the enemy likes to throw shit at us, we keep higher distance. If the enemy doesn't, we do not. And we got one. Check it out. We've already got like 4 people, right? We have some more remaining. Jesus Christ, right around my head. Okay. Yeah, I'm keeping the distance. Oh my goodness, this is very scary. Right. This is even scarier. So we have to be careful here. Right. We still have an opportunity. I think he ran out of things. If I... Yes, there you go. So the strategy here was the following, right? There was really uneasy there for a moment. But the strategy here was following. Kill the stragglers, which are really weak, and try to keep the distance with the strong enemy, which was the Brigand. Brigand was very scary. He's a tier 3 unit, level 16. I'm only puny level 3. Look at my clothes, pathetic. If that spear would hit my face, there would be not much of my face remaining. He could actually one-shot me, potentially. So now we have some nice shoes we're going to put on. Shoes are especially important, by the way, when you play a horseback, on horseback, because they allow you to sustain hits a little bit better. We have a better sword. Now, check it out. So from a situation that could be lethal if I was on foot, it became very beneficial to me because I was on horseback and I was abusing the distance between me and the enemy, and I was able to get it to such a fashion that I obtained a tactical advantage. And again, the idea here is that you can snowball your early game advantage with this without abusing trading, without abusing any of the goofy mechanics in the game, but just straight up getting better at combat and allowing yourself just this nice wealth of strategies that you can use. Check it out, 400 gold, and we're also getting some nice levels in combat. Our bow experience is rising, our horseback experience is rising. We're doing really, really good. We're already level 3. And check it out, we have no standing force to speak of. We have our guy and 3 wounded people. No, not even 3 wounded people, right? Yeah, everyone died. Jesus Christ, everyone died. We have some prisoners, actually. We have some prisoners, and that's about it. We don't really have anything at the moment. That's very interesting, because even like this, we already present a large enough threat for these people, and they don't run away from us, which is really an interesting thing as well. They don't run away from us because they don't consider us a big threat, but we are a big threat, and we can dismantle big forces like this. Just your character alone, if you're good at this thing, can dismantle 15 people or 7 looters. Look, it's nothing. Let's try to do it again. Take numero duo. Fight me if you dare. We're not going to use the auto battle because I'm trying to demonstrate to you how you can operate your forces more effectively, how you can control them more effectively. We're going to keep them at the ready and hold our button F6 to be ready to send them off. And our goal here is to reduce the number of enemies and make sure that they all don't strike our front line at the same time. We've already cut 2 of them off, and that's nice, but I want to cut more of them off. Now we cut 3 of them off, which is really nice, but these people are not as important. It's okay to get wounded here, because my goal here is to create, a bit of a situation like this, where enemies are distracted and my boys can handle them. And they should be able to handle them, no problem. It's okay to run into enemies too, you're doing charge damage, and when they're looking at you and trying to throw rocks at you, your boys can close distance and destroy them. Check it out. How many losses did we have this time? Now it was a perfect execution from me. I suffered about, I would say 15% of my health total. I lost 0 people. They had a great opportunity to attack the enemies, and we dismantled a force that was a 1-to-1 ratio to us. So check it out, that's very interesting, isn't it? And again, we're getting experience, we're getting the command experience, and we had a really pathetic force of 2 recruits and 1 looter, fighting against 7 looters, I think. So that's one of the ways you can do that. It also transforms to mid-scale scale battles as well. Large-scale battles are more difficult. They're a little different. A lot different, actually. But yeah, the idea is there. I hope it was helpful for you. I suggest you try to use it. It's really, really fun strategy, and it's really, really, really difficult to master, because firing accurately when moving fast is a hell of a thing to do, you know, hell of a thing to accomplish. But you don't even need to do that. You just need to use your horse as a mobility unit to break distance from your enemies, and every time you're trying to shoot, slow down and fire. So I think it's a great idea. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a fantastic day. Good luck at your king making quest in Mount&Blade 2. A phenomenal game. Definitely one of the games of the year of this fantastic year. It's one of the things that is so good during this corona outbreak, is that there are games like this, truly works of passion, 8 years in the making, and another year we're gonna have an early access before they finally release this jewel, really, of a game. And it's fantastic. It's phenomenal to see how their progress has been and how they're making this a reality. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video.